Hello, it's Uncommon Fossil. Today, I want to present a deck that pairs Miraidon EX with Magnezone EX, an all lightning attacking deck. You might remember the Magnezone EX from the Dailga deck, where I included one copy in that deck. Well, here I have 4 copies of Magnezone EX, leaning into it very heavily. It is a Stage 2 lightning attacker, 330 HP, so fairly tanky, but of course it's a Stage 2, so that is the complication with the deck to making it work. It's got 2 very useful attacks. The first one, Energy Crush, for just 1 energy, does 50 damage for each energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon. So for a lot of matchups, that can do big damage. But obviously, there's times that your opponent doesn't attach much energy or even no energy if they're attaching Lost Zone attaching with Cramorant, in which case you have the second attack for 2 energies, so still not that expensive, does 220 damage, and then it does 30 damage to itself. But at 330 HP, if you do it, one attack, you're still at 300 HP, which is still a very solid number. So it plays 1 Magneton, the Stage 1, just to help set up, and 4 of the Magnemites, the basic, which it evolves from. And then the other card, which is paired with for attacking, is Miraidon EX, another very good attacker, and to set up Pokemon 2. Playing 4 copies because I really want to get this in play turn 1. Just to set up the bench, and it can be a good attacker early on. It has tandem unit ability, right, where once during your turn you may search your deck for up to 2 basic lightning Pokemon, put them onto your bench, shuffle your deck, so it gets those lightning Pokemon to play, and then it does, for 3 energy, it does 220 damage, but then it can attack the next turn. It's a basic, so we play Electric Generator to help get the energy on. Because of the way this deck's built, it doesn't have as much basic energies as the more Miraidon-focused decks do, so it's a little harder to get set up, but it still can be set up, and it's a very good attacker. A couple support Pokemon, 1 Radiant Greninja, right, for concealed cards, discard an energy to draw 2, so the deck really doesn't have an engine, so this kind of is as much of an engine as the deck has. And then also Lumineon V with Luminous Signs, search your deck for a supporter and put it into your hand, shuffle your deck. So a very useful supporter there to get the supporter. Useful card we have to get the supporter we need. Playing 11 energy, which is an okay number. Obviously, I'd prefer to up that some. I'm not sure that I can afford the deck space. So a good assortment of trainers, I guess, right? It's a mix. And obviously getting the right trainers at the right time, that's kind of the challenge with this deck. So 4 Ultra Ball, obviously key for just getting those Pokemon to play. A lot of Pokemon basic and evolutions. 1 Raihan, very useful, of course, accelerate energy from the discard to 1 of your Pokemon to play if you are knocked out from your opponent last turn. And you also search your deck for any 1 card, so quite useful for setting up 2 Iridas. It allows us to search for a water Pokemon and an item card. We need Rare Candy and such, so it's useful for that, and can search for a support Pokemon, Lumineon or Radiant Greninja. 3 switch cards, because those Miraidon EXs can't stream attacks, so if we're attacking with that, we need to be able to switch in and out. 2 Cheryls, because that's really what you want to be doing with the Magnezone EX. You're attacking with 1 energy a lot of the time, then you get hit into, hopefully not knocked out, because there's not a lot of decks that can one-shot you. So then you Cheryl, which heals all of your evolution Pokemon in play, but then every card that's healed that way, you discard all energy attached to that Pokemon. So if you're attacking for 1 energy, Cheryl, full health, and then just reattach that 1 energy and attack again. So that's kind of the basic plan behind the deck. 4 rare candies because we got to get that Stage 2 set up. 4 Electric Generator. It's a very good card. We hit a lot less energies with the more energy intensive more Miraidon focused decks, but it still will get us some energies, and it does certainly help us set up the Miraidon EXs because we do often want to attack with that also. It's generally a deck that we want to be kind of mixing up the attackers between the Miraidon and the Magnezone. 1 Hisuian Heavy Ball just to get a basic from the prize cards. 4 Professor's Research, just obviously great for just setting up early game. Klara, put up to 2 Pokemon and 2 energies, basic energies from the discard pile into your hand, so get back some of those energies that we've had to discard, and also get the Pokemon we want into our hand. Very useful for sure. 2 Boss's Orders just helps kind of control the board state. 1 Pal Pad. These supporters are very important, and depending on the matchup, depends on which supporters we need. Do we need some extra Cheryls back? Do we need Raihan back? Do we need Boss back? So Pal Pad gives us some flexibility there. I've included 1 for a Seal Stone. I only have 1 V, so being able to use it consistently isn't always there, but it's a tremendous card when it works. So I think that it's a bit high roll, but the payoff is huge. So I think it's worth it. Right, for a Seal Stone can only be attached to a V, or to use it has to be attached to a V. It actually can attach to any Pokemon, but you want it attached to the Lumineon V. Then you search your deck for any 1 card once per game. Once in the course of the game, since it uses your V-Star power. So very useful there. 2 Nest Balls just to help set up. There, 1 Choice Belt to help fix the numbers for some matchups. 1 Arven, that's useful since we do have the 1 tool card. It searches for a tool and an item, so we can get for a Seal Stone with this, plus any 1 item card. And then 2 Beach Courts just to help with switching, since we do play our attacking with the Miraidon EX. So let's jump in the rank ladder, see how the deck performs. The deck is, to be honest, okay. It's not much better than okay, though. The work list could be improved some, but it's actually, I think it's a decent list, is what I'll say. There's a few changes I could make where I've gone back and forth on a few cards, but I don't think there's a lot of change to the 60. I put together a list from scratch initially myself. What was a very bad deck, played it some, saw that was basically a failure. I talked with 10 types who I do some collaborating with. He essentially redid the deck in a way that worked better, but it wasn't the type of deck I wanted. He really went away from the Miraidon EX as an attacker, I will say. So I didn't love that build. So then I looked at Limitless. There are some decks like this that have had some success. So I took a look at some of those more successful decks and adjusted the list based on that, and it's close to my starting list, but definitely an improvement. All right, so 2 basic Pokemon. I didn't notice if I'm going first or second. I'm not sure which to put active. Did it give me an option to bench the Radiant Greninja? I would not have done that, but I don't know. I didn't notice that I got the opportunity to make that play. So not a bad. I might be able to attack turn 1 for prizes. All right, so a Mew deck with Flying Pikachu. So Flying Pikachu to wall off basics, and I assume Genesect, and then I assume it's Mew also. So I assume it's a Mew deck, standard Mew deck with a little bit of tech there. All right, so I might research this turn, but I want to. All right, toss him down. I'm going to use Tandem Unit. I want to try to get, if I can get 3 energies on Miraidon, swing into him in the active. That would be a wonderful start. I will keep a bench slot open at this point. 1, okay. I mean, I have this, and if I research, and I still could research also. Hopefully I hit at least 1. I got the 2, so I have knockout here. So I'll take the first prizes like that. I will switch into active. I will Choice Belt on a Magnemite and research. So this is a dream turn 1. Cheryl Magnezone. Wow, it has really come together. I will attach 1 energy here. So, boom, take out the Flying Pikachu. It wasn't overly useful for this matchup anyway. So I take 2 prizes. We'll see if my opponent keeps playing. That was a dream turn 1, I gotta say. Yeah, that's the best turn 1 I have had with any build of this deck at all, right? When I saw the 2, based on the starting hand, it certainly was possible that I was going to get a knockout, right? Having Miraidon on the bench and 2 Electric Generators the fact that I was able to attach to the bench Pokemon also. Hopefully I don't get judged. Okay, they concede, which was a very fair move. They weren't going to attack that turn, and I was probably going to do some real damage to them again. So deck certainly can, that deck, it popped off that game for sure. My opponent didn't have a great start, but honestly, that start of that game was just tremendous. You can't ask for anything more than that. Excuse me, my voice is getting a little rough there. Yeah, I don't expect to see a game that goes as well as that again. But again, I do want to play some more than that. All right, there we go. So I get to go first, which I like. All right, Magnemite in the active. That's solid. Problem is, I am in a vulnerable position here. Oh, those are some interesting sleeves. I could be in trouble. I am poised to be donked here, right? I really would like to get. All right, so well, that's not terrible. All right, end turn. So it's not good, but my opponent probably. I'm not going to get knocked out, I don't believe. And since I had such a bad start, they may not really want to judge me. I obviously have a decent-sized hand, but they know I don't have the basic Pokemon I want, so I will... what would I do here? Because I don't know if I want to research... they are judging me. That's unfortunate. Oh, this is a much worse hand, right? By like massively worse hand. That was a very good hand I had going to turn 2. Obviously, the fact that I couldn't get my board state set up isn't great now, right? By getting judged, and now I'm probably not doing much this next turn. They got their 1 energy attached to their Zacian. They will roar. It's Roar of the Sword, right? Roar of the Sword, I assume, to the Zacian, and puts me in an awkward spot. So so we'll see what happens. Ultra Ball's not bad. What do I want to do here? Do I need to research or something like that? I think I might need to research. So let me take a look at the deck. Probably grab a Lumineon and a research. Yeah, and see what I have and go from there. All right. So I have 1 more Magnemite in the deck. I discarded 1, obviously. What did I do? Oh, well, I'm conceding. I forgot to grab my card. I made a big mistake, and I know what I did, and I usually avoid that. I was looking through the deck, and that's a danger. I've done that before, where I scroll through the deck, and then I don't take my card, so that wiped out that really good game last time. We'll jump it. So what I should have done, and this is the way I avoid that mistake, is I select the Lumineon, drag it down as my selection, and then I flip through. That way I don't forget and stop searching without grabbing the Pokemon. That's the way that I should sequence it. That way I avoid that mistake. So that was really terrible. It wasn't a great start to the game for me. My opponent was pretty well set up, so that's partly why I conceded too. I made a mistake that put me in essentially a 0 chance of winning. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. This is not a great starting hand. Nest Ball, not bad though. I mean, I'll get my bench set up, right? Heavy Ball, I get to see what's in my prizes. I think I'm up against the same opponent, right? I believe. All right, so let's play a little smarter this time. Let's see what else is prized. So that's a nice card there. Okay, so 1 Cheryl, 1 Rare Candy. So I will Magnemite. Do I want to get down? Do I want to toss down like another Miraidon? I think I want to thin the deck with something. So do I take a Miraidon or a Magnemite, right? They're not going to knock out my Miraidon, I'm pretty sure. So I'll grab a Magnemite. I could have grabbed a Radiant Greninja end turn, right? Keep the Ultra Ball. I can Ultra Ball. I can Lumineon next turn. Yeah, I can't believe I blew that last game. So, and obviously, I get the I'm pretty sure my same opponent. I didn't pay so much attention to the name. I certainly paid attention to the sleeves, which I believe are identical. So we'll see what happens. So they're getting a good start to their game. I need to play smarter than last time. So, okay, see what they choose to do. So Serena, they'll discard because I don't have a V down that they can gust up. Not that they want to. They want to set up their hand and their board state. Anyway, I got to imagine. Temple of Sinnoh, which is I don't care about. They kind of know that, right? I'm just playing basic lightning. I did put Temple of Sinnoh in this deck at one point. Also, I will say. So what do I do here? Okay, I think. So discard, get rid of what, Raihan and energy. Man. I think I'm going to make maybe I should have, maybe I made a mistake. I should have probably used Radiant Greninja first, shouldn't I? I think that was the play. I'm going to research, so but I'll grab something to thin. So I'll grab another research to get rid of that. Forest Seal Stone. I'll use this first to evolve. I just okay, yeah, I need the Rare Candy. So that was not an optimal sequencing for sure. Got to get my head in the game here. I'll research. Hopefully I need to build an energy and to be able to switch. Okay, that's nice for sure. All right, so I will Electric Generator. Nothing. That's okay. Energy. Switch. Do I want a Radiant Greninja? I think I might want to wait on that, right? I should probably attack the Choice Belt. They're not going to knock me out this turn, most likely. If they do, that's unfortunate for me. I don't knock them out, so that's not good either. But, right, they only have one energy in play. Now they know I'm set up. So if there's 4 energy in play, I knock out the Zacian. It's early in the game. They have 0 energies in the discard pile. So it's pretty much impossible for them to get the energies in play to one-shot my Magnezone. You never know, right? I mean, it's not impossible, but it's, I think, virtually impossible. So they're setting up, which is the right play. I don't know. Trying to think through what I'm going to do next turn. Do I want a Radiant Greninja? I guess I do. I didn't, right? I still have Klara in the deck. I got rid of the Raihan. I do play Pal Pad. So Mew so they can retreat. And what are they going to do? Okay. I mean, we'll see what they do. Honestly, I don't believe they have any chance to knock me out. 1, 2, 3. If they get 4 energies in play, I'd knock them out. Their smart play is probably attach. Okay, boss, knockout, Lumineon for 2 prizes. If they attach 4 energy, though, it's not good, right? They'd 60, 70, 80, 90. I think they don't have knockout, do they? They don't, so I can retreat. I'll hard retreat, I would say. That's... Let's see. So I don't knock them out. But I'm pretty sure that's the play I need to make. So they played it well, right? I come up just a little short. No, I had knockout. Oh, because of Choice Belt. That's right. I forgot. I forgot about my Choice Belt. I was thinking I was coming up just a little short, but Choice Belt gets there. All right, so both Cheryl's in hand. Good card. They still can't knock out my Magnezone this turn, most likely. After this turn is when it starts to get more scary, their ability to one-shot my Magnezone. I have a Rare Candy, so I'd love to get another Magnezone into play. If I do get hit into with this hand, I will Cheryl, attach, attack. So I have 2 Cheryls. Obviously, I only have 1 energy, but I hopefully will take some prizes after this turn. So, you know, it's going all right. I'm in an okay place. Don't know. Their deck's gonna ramp up as the game goes on, right? So against Gardevoir, I need to get going early against it. I think I want to try to get maybe 1 more energy in the deck. As I'm kind of thinking through the list as I'm sitting here. I have 11. Get a 12th energy. Now the deck doesn't play Manaphy. And generally, I don't worry about cards like Manaphy for playing on the ladder. If you're going to if I was going to an event, and at this point, I wouldn't probably be an IRL event, but you know, I have done some online events at times in the past. That's where I might want to put in the Manaphy. So let's see what they do. So it's 60 plus 30. So they need an equivalent of 11 energies, which means they need 9 energies attached. And I just don't think they can get there. Now, I'm not going to get judged. They don't know I'm sitting on Cheryl energy, right? So they're going to hit into me, not knock me out. I was going to say they could rope, but they still could rope. But then it doesn't make so much sense that they sent up the Zacian. So I assume they're not roping. I assume they're going to power up their Zacian as much as they can, hit into me, and then if I can't Cheryl, they'll knock me out next turn. I assume that's their thought. Right. So we'll see what happens here. Fog Crystal Energy. They might, so probably going to discard that with Radiant Greninja. Just to get more energy than the discard that they can accelerate and such. Like I said, I believe they need 9 energies, so I don't think that can happen. So at this point, I will one-shot them, which is how I was last time, right? I do 150 plus the 30 is 180. So they doesn't really make sense for them to hold off on attaching energies at this point, since I will knock them out. Okay, they made that play. So 180. I do 180, so I will heal you off. They should have attached more energies, right? It wouldn't have hurt their situation at all. And it would have improved their situation potentially, right? I think they should have accelerated more energy. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they did. Maybe they did calculate things better than I did. So Irida, okay. So got the win there. So I could put in. I'm trying to think through cards I might want to tweak with this deck list. So there we go. I'll jump in one more game. It's been fairly quick, those games. Energy Search is a useful card in the deck. Right. I'm just thinking through options. Lumineon. At times I've played 2 Lumineon Vs in the deck, which has some value. then it makes the Forest Seal Stone a little more likely. The reason I play an Arven in the deck is because of Forest Seal Stone, I will say that, right? You can even Lumineon for Arven, because you don't really want to Lumineon for Irida, because Irida searches for a for a water Pokemon, and which you usually don't want to play that turn. All right, so this is a good starter for me. Miraidon. I have 2 rare candies. All right, so up against Lugia Single Strike. Not sure how this will go. They can get up to big damage. It's not easy to get up to 330 though, right? I don't believe. So they have to do some real work to get there. Also, the fact that at this point there's Choice Belt to hurt Vs, but it doesn't impact. All right, so it's my turn. So I want to get another Miraidon and a Magnemite. I will toss down 2 Magnemites, 2 more Magnemites, and then Electric Generator. Right? You always want to sequence, thin the deck before using Electric Generator when you're going to, right? I don't need more than, so now, and if I was going to search for a Pokemon, I would use that now, but I want to save that for next turn as things stand. So got 2 energies. That is exactly what I like to see. I will, so this is a very nice hand. I will attach to the man on the bench and end turn. So another really nice start, I got to say. Yeah, I mean, this deck has, honestly, this has started very well. The one game where I lost, I was an idiot, basically, right? So I wasted the deck. This deck is starting better than I thought, I gotta say. Miraidon, I really do love Miraidon EX, just the fact that it gets basic lightning into play. You set up turn 1 a lot. The 4 research is good, because at this point, I probably will research this turn. I would assuming this hand sits, I Ultra Ball. Right, so he may end up by attacking, read the win. So he's in trouble. So I may win this next turn. That's the goal here, is to win this next turn. So Lumineon, okay, so they concede. So I'll tell you what, I'm just going to stop here. The deck has performed quite nicely, for sure. That hasn't been great gameplay, I would say, but the games have been quick. But the deck does, it's setting up better than I thought these games. So I have to keep playing this deck. If it's to what extent was I lucky, or to what extent does this deck actually set up, right? If the deck sets up, it's very powerful. 220 early in the game, tremendous, right? That's part of why the whole Miraidon Regieleki deck works. And then also the ability to attack and Cheryl with the Magnezone EX, very good also. If I can kind of pair those two, switch between the attacks when I want to, it's a deck with a lot of potential. I'm going to keep working with it for sure. It's working out better than I expected here. So take a look, give the deck a try. If you have thoughts about the deck and suggestions for improving it, please put them in the comments below. Take care.